not that I don't believe it could happen. I just would want to see the blueprint of how this looks.
All right, Jeremiah, this is a I gotta make it special.
Yeah.
This is a brand new segment.
This is a Trackstarz exclusive.
My wife has come up with so many dope segments for our show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alfie. She came up with this segment as well. She was like, I got an idea for the show. And I was like, okay, what is it? So if you are a longtime listener of Trackstarz, you know that Jeremiah has a alter ego called Conspiracy J. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of laid down this alter ego recently. You haven't been doing this as much, but
I've grown.
Yeah, he's grown a lot, but everything was a conspiracy to
he figured
Jeremiah.
a lot out during the pandemic.
Maybe
A lot of things were true that he thought was conspiracy.
But we're bringing back Conspiracy
Wouldn't
J.
that help me?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, you calmed down because you found out everything was true.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. But
No.
so we're bringing back Conspiracy J, and I'm gonna tell you what sparked this. We're gonna do this one later, but what sparked this is I can't remember when this started, but Alfie brought the Whitney Houston video to me where she sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl, right? And then we found out that the conspiracy is that she didn't actually sing it live, that it was recorded. She sung it a couple days before.
No way.
And because they had challenges with audio, they just played it back and she lip synced it.
No
right?
way.
And it's pretty much confirmed. All the producers said it was true. All that. So it's pretty widely known that was she sang the song. It just not at that time.
Yeah.
So that was a big conspiracy that we were like, oh man, I wonder if people know that and all that stuff. So we were like, what are the other conspiracies that people have, that people talk about in barbershops, you grew up with, that people just are afraid to talk about for some reason?
Coke started off in Coca-Cola.
Cocaine and Coca-Cola, that's another one. So just if you guys have any conspiracies that you would like us to investigate, send it to us, man. Conspiracy J, new segment. Jeremiah, what is the first Conspiracy J we're going to tackle?
All right. So the first Conspiracy J, that is not a conspiracy. I think is a real situation because the stuff manifested itself. Is that gangster rap was created by the government to encourage them to kill one another. And them, you know what them is.
Yeah.
All right. So
You peoples.
them peoples. And if you're bougie black, they ain't your people. Okay, so there's a video. You guys can go check it out yourself. It's kind of a little verbiage in there that we can't play on the show. But Crazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony exposes he was a letter was sent to him from an executive that says he was at a meeting that talked about them investing money. The government investing money into making gangster rap pop. You know what I'm saying? Like that everybody was going to sign on to it and it was going to be a go. Because remember at this time, like in the early 90s, they weren't really playing rap music on black radio and urban radio. It was all R&B. And you may have a rap here and there, but it wasn't like as dominated as now. So he's saying it and he's reading everything. And he was like, everybody in the music industry the big dogs was at this meeting in this early 90s and everybody signed on to it. Right? And people, once they realized what they were signing up to was like, you really think about like, and really was like, the person that wrote the letter was like, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this no more because this is ridiculous. Like, y'all really think this was going to happen? And then it's another video of an OG named Kool Moe Dee. For people who don't know, some of his songs was like Wild Wild West, some old 80s, he's an 80s rapper. But he talked about how, in the same breath, that how the labels started to change because in the late 80s, everything was positive, not positive rap, but conscious rap. You know, him, KRS-One, Public Enemy. And then he's also talking about the rise of NWA at that time. And then how NWA just kind of took over and then more negative hip hop got on the radio. He also said everybody pays to be on the radio. And then he also talked about how the powers that be really plugged that more than the positive conscious music because it was enlightening black people. So the conspiracy is that this gangster rap was all by the government. Now, what I would say was I don't think they created it, but they could have funded. And when I say that, I would say of course the Ice-T, I see documentaries all the time. Ice-T said that he got his first record that he put out, 6 in the Morning, was from a cat in the East Coast named Schoolie D. He had a song called PSK, which means I forgot, part something killers, but he got the idea from him. So he, an East Coast dude from Philly, started in all this other stuff. But at the same time, NWA and all them cats on the West Coast that was like kind of people call the Godfather, Eazy-E, Godfather of gangster rap, was funding their stuff themselves, and then they got on priority, and then the rest is kind of history. You know what I mean? But they were selling records without, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm laying it all out.
First of all, I love this segment for you. I think you're glowing. You're glowing right now. I will say I'm gonna raise some challenges to the conspiracy.
Okay.
So, if that was the plan, I would say they failed. One reason.
Yeah.
Majority of music is purchased by white children.
Yeah,
so if their goal was to destroy black people, their kids are the ones that ate it up the most. So that would be a failure, no?
I'll say this to push back on that. We've seen the rise in drug dealing in the late 80s, 90s. We've seen the rise of that. We've seen a big pipeline from the streets to prison and the high we've ever seen during the crack epidemic.
Okay. So you're saying not just killing each other, but getting each other in prison.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The whole thing.
Because they're saying it's a prison, owning a prison is money. It's like financially. Yeah. So they're saying like this music was influencing, and we always had a conversation about like movies versus music. But this music influenced people to do stuff that they wasn't thinking about doing maybe 5 years before everything started happening and stuff like that.
I will say, even though what I just said is true, that hip hop was majority. Ryan is having a conniption. Let me switch to my camera. So you can go ahead and sneeze it up, brother.
Some allergies killing Ryan today. I told him that coke ain't doing it.
We think it's the coke.
Yeah.
Remember, another conspiracy about the coke. That was made to kill us too.
I ain't gonna lie, I saw Coca-Cola pouring some acid on a battery.
Oh, yeah, it works.
I was like, oh, no. I was like, I ain't never drinking that.
Anyway, so even though white people buy hip-hop the most, it's still a lot of the actual violence happens between black people.
Yeah.
So it's still, if it's true, it's still effective, I would say.
But what I think they did was, I remember watching the Tupac documentary, and I remember Dan Quayle and George Bush talking about Tupac and how his music is just, destroying the world. I think what they thought was going to happen is that it would never enter their world.
Yeah.
And like you said, with their kids buying the music, what we are seeing now is a product of all those kids who bought the music are now running things.
Yeah.
So you're going to see them in the Popeyes ad. You're going to see them in all the corporate commercials. And now hip hop is going to have its dominance because there's no one there to stop it. There's no one there that wants to stop it. I mean, I was watching TV the other day and I saw this, just really backwoods country guy, and I was watching this TV show called Metal Lifted or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were doing a custom car for Slim Thug. And the guy was like, "Man, I grew up listening to Slim Thug all my life. I can't believe I'm doing his car." And I'm like, "You listen to Slim Thug all your life? Like, how in the world?" And
Texas is a big state, man.
It is. Yeah. But, I'm saying, like, that just goes to show, like, I never would have thought that would have come out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you're looking at it like, well, yeah, if that's the case, they did fail. And they also made it to the point where it was going to make a billionaire out of it. Yeah. So, it's crazy.
But if you look at, honestly, and just being real, if you look at the youth of our generation, today's generation, maybe Gen X too, if you look at these people now, some of them are productive, but some of them are not in good places. Some of them were influenced by stuff. You can look at a kid today when you work at a job, when you work with teenagers, and you see the influence of kids, where a kid never would want when one kid comes in and he's happy to be there, XYZ, and then like you start seeing the development of like what he listening to or whatever, and being influenced by if he's by himself at his house all by himself and he has the knowledge to do stuff himself and being influenced by certain things. I've seen that personally. Where a kid was one way, and then he started like listening to stuff, getting in stuff, and different things, and it just
has
changed
an impact.
But I'm noticing something else too, and it's something that I really like that I'm seeing because it's the alternative is really happening. I was watching the NFL draft last week, and they were like, "We're going to bring out the top 20 prospects of the 2023 class."
Yeah.
All of them were black except for one.
Yeah.
You know, all of them were black except for one. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting because athletes are becoming to that, or getting to that point. Like Bryce Young, the quarterback who was drafted from Alabama to Carolina. I was watching a podcast and they were like, you know, what's it like to have $1 million, you know, coming in your future? And they were like, nah, he's got NIL money. He's already a millionaire. And he was like, well, yeah, that's true. I've been a millionaire for a minute now. So these college students, they're coming in, they're athletes, basketball, football, baseball. They're getting to the point where they're replacing what the community wanted us to be, which is drug dealers and gangsters, and they're using it. They're using their talents to do something life-changing and impactful.
But that's a stereotype too. It's like that's the only other way out is that being an athlete or entertainer or
no. But I'm saying like you hear the story of a lot of kids coming from the streets, channel their energy through sports. You know what I'm saying?
No, but what I'm saying is that's the stereotype. Like the non-stereotype would be, yo, I got out and I'm an engineer. I got out and I'm a city planner. I'm newest. I'm different. Something that's not entertainment based or athletics.
Well, and I want to say this. I think sports has helped them keep up with their grades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whenever they talk about, you know, these college football players and they're saying like he's 3.9 GPA, 3.7 GPA.
You know you got to push.
Like,
you got some help.
You could have, but still, all I'm saying is like it's definitely a positive for.
I'm not gonna let you put football in this. All right,
you know I'm gonna put football in this.
It makes no sense.
Day.
All right, so I'm gonna interrogate this a little bit more. What you got?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Think about Ja.
Okay.
Ja Morant.
You just mean the culture is on him.
The culture is on him.
Yeah, and you think that's the FBI's fault?
I'm not saying the FBI's fault. I'm just saying
Which government?
the
CIA? Which
the
one?
influential of the hip hop government that has that on some of these kids.
Okay,
That's all I'm
so
saying.
so let's say it's true. It would have been effective, right? How do you know it's true? What are the facts? What are these people pulling? Are you just taking it from their word for it? Like, is there any actual facts? Are there any leaks?
Well, here's the thing. I would say this. In the 80s, hip hop wasn't as dominant as it was. It was an underground movement. It was still doing its thing. It was bubbling nationally. It was doing its thing, but it was still not on urban radio. It was not doing it. But when they chose to put it on urban radio, was like at one time it was nice stuff, but at the same time people have to compete with other rappers. So going back to like in the early 90s, the most popular rappers at the time is now like 91, 92 is NWA. Then comes Dre. Then comes Snoop. You know what I'm saying?
How do you know that didn't just happen naturally? What's the proof that it's a conspiracy?
Well, I think that the reason why it's a conspiracy because that's who became successful. That's who they started pushing. They weren't pushing the KRS-Ones. They weren't pushing these other people. That.
How do you know the they isn't the music industry and the they is the government?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so, well, I'm thinking based off this meeting they're talking about that if people were there, that if the music industry was there with the people talking about, all right, everybody's gonna sign this contract based off what he was saying on this letter that the person who was there did, then it has to be some type of truth to it, because if the government and the record industries are hand in hand on it, then that would make sense on who's getting pushed and who's not getting pushed.
Do you believe this?
I just think I've seen manifestations of things in certain situations where people say, I listen to such and such while we go we put some work in, or I listen to such and such, you know, we got high and we went and killed somebody, or you know what I'm saying? Like I've heard stories of people say that before. So I'm not saying it can't be true, but I'm not saying it ain't true either, because I've seen the rise of growing up in the East Coast and seeing the rise of conscious rap, and then all of a sudden it just take a extreme shift to Dre, Snoop, and Q.
So this is what I want to do during this segment in the future. I want everybody watching live. You have to be live because it's the only way we see it. I want you guys, we're going to say the ones we're going to do in the future. And I want you guys to do the research. Even while we're talking, I want you guys to do the research and drop in facts, drop in like anecdotes, stuff like that to help us. You guys are the sleuths trying to figure this out while we're talking, right? So I think Jeremiah did a great job researching this and finding out why this conspiracy. I honestly had never heard this before.
Yeah.
But this doesn't seem that hard to believe, true or not. It's kind of the same result. Is the same result.
Yeah.
They did push crack into the black communities. They did over-police the black communities. The president was a part of it. And that was part of the agenda. That's known.
Yeah.
So did it extend to music? So what if it did or it didn't? The work that you're talking, the effect you're talking about happened when they pushed the crack epidemic.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's still you have to have something motivating you to do. I mean, besides just getting money, but at the same time, it's like people start hearing people's lifestyle in the music. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm saying it did not happen.
But you gotta also say too that a lot of these radio personalities and DJs back in the day were pushing for these songs. To get put on.
But we know that. We're just trying to see, was it the government? That's different. The music industry we know is wild. They crazy. They push all kinds of nonsense. Yeah. Was it from the government?
It's not that I don't believe it could happen. I just would want to see the blueprint of how this looked. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have to involve a radio station. It would have to involve.
Well, it involved the music industry based off what Busy Bone was talking about in that meeting. These were people with the music industry, locking arms with the government.
Right.
So the government,
it was like, hey, we'll give you a grant to go pump $2 million of this music into the community so that people can kill each other on the other side. Like that to me would have to be the smoking gun.
Some sort of
document. Find some sort of documentation, some kind of paper trail, some kind of check stub.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you just randomly got $2 million back in that day. That was more like $20 million. You know what I'm saying? So you got this to push into the industry. And you almost kind of think about, the heads of these labels and the heads of these radio stations were probably predominantly white at that time. So now you've got those folks sitting down with their congressional leaders saying, okay, let's pass some kind of way. Let's funnel this money this way so that we can protect our wonderful, safe communities. And then they end up going in
the only challenge to this is what you're alleging is that the government wanted black people to be gangsters, drug dealers, so that they can go to jail.
Yeah.
You're basically saying that they were okay with making their lives more dangerous.
Yeah, that's
for
dumb.
a short amount of time to get this result when they could have just done it without a reason. They can lock up people whenever they want.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of the roundabout result? That's where it doesn't feel true to me. Because to me, this doesn't even have to be true for the effect to have already been done with the crack epidemic. I believe that one.
Yeah.
All you needed was to push crack through the hood, and this happens anyway.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my ruling on it. But I want to get, for the rest of the time we have, I want to tell you guys what we have planned for Conspiracy J.
Yeah.
Coming up. I want to take your suggestions as well. So let me just read the list.
It's a long list.
It gets crazy. It gets a little crazy. Here's what's coming up. I already told you the first one. Whitney Houston lip sync issue, right? Is Stevie Wonder really blind?
Yeah, I saw Jamie Foxx making
I heard a lot of jokes
A
about
lot
that.
of people have alleged that that's not true. Some of these are mean, so just be prepared. Is Tupac still alive? Longest hood conspiracy I remember.
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Beyonce and the Illuminati. We did the gangster rap created by the government. Did the FBI kill MLK? We don't even have to do that one. We know that. Did the music industry conspire to end DMX's career?
I never heard that one, but that's new.
Did Suge Knight give Eazy-E AIDS? That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Did Gilly the Kid write Lil Wayne's raps? That's a big conspiracy I've heard since I was younger.
Yeah.
Did they fake the moon landing? Of course. Tommy Hilfiger hates black people. That was a big conspiracy growing up.
That was.
There's more new information on that. Sports are rigged in general. me and Jeremiah have a strong. We're both Golden State fans, and we have a strong. And my wife have a strong belief that the Warriors had to throw Game 6 to get to a Game 7. But whatever.
Yeah.
Was that last year?
This year,
yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, who were they playing against?
The Kings.
Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Gangster rap was used to help fill America's prisons. So that's the same thing. The Ohio Players Scream. I didn't write all these. I don't even know what that is. Bohemian Grove. I'll talk to y'all about that whole thing. Y'all remember that? Bohemian Grove. Are black people the real Jews?
Yeah.
We're going there. So that's a couple of the. Some people are like, that's not even a conspiracy. That's true. So we're going to be tackling a lot of those. So if you have more, please add it to the chat. We'll add it to our list.
I did see a couple in here. One was about Christian hip hop.
What is it?
Let's see. I'm trying to go here.
It's the Conspiracy J iceberg. Yes. We can make an iceberg when we get deeper into this.
That's funny. CHH.
Did Bush knock down the towers? Y'all getting dark. We were trying to keep it around music, but y'all trying to do like serious ones. Go ahead.
It said, CHH influential artists getting pressed into mental health issues.
What?
They're being told to push mental health issues?
I guess.
I mean,
interesting.
What would you say is a conspiracy about?
CHH?
Yeah, what's a CHH conspiracy you heard that you like?
Artists are here so they can get to the shortstop to the mainstream.
It's not a conspiracy. That's true.
I mean,
we're not talking about facts. We're talking about conspiracies. There has to be some sort of we know a lot of conspiracies that may be conspiracies to y'all. We just know that it's true. So it's hard to do CHH because we know too much. You know what I'm saying? It's not a conspiracy because we know what actually happened.
Lecrae and the Illuminati. I heard that.
Everybody's in the Illuminati. People think we are. So
are we though? Are we?
Did you not get the letter?
Did Puffy set up Biggie?
What happened?
I'm trying to change this.
Puff set up Biggie.
I don't know what they talking about. If they got the letter, I was at home.
Yeah.
When they went to Reach, they got the letter. I don't know.
I got a confession to make. I mean,
send Jeremiah the letter?
That year we got on 200 radio stations. I had to.
Oh no! You had to do what?
I had to prick my finger.
Oh, thank God!
Blood oath.
I thought you were talking about something else.
Yeah, clip this out and send it around. See, I knew it. Anyway, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.